In the past, I used to think that somehow by working smarter, because everyone says work smarter, not harder. I used to think that I could be above the work, that I could achieve the same amount of results as other people and have to put in less hours of work if I work smarter. I generally used to think that. Lazy way of thinking. And now, as I am actually trying to work hard by, in the beginning I just wanted to work smart, but then I realized that to achieve results you need to work hard anyway, so it's unavoidable. I realized how disrespectful it is to the people that have made it in whatever field you're trying to make it in, right? Because you're trying to replicate their success and then some, it's disrespectful to them because they've done way more than you. So how do you expect with your much less hours to achieve the same result? It's very arrogant. You got to understand, even though it's true that you got to account for error and not everyone had perfect runs, so people can say, oh, it took me 13 years, but then, throughout those 13 years, I don't know, they broke up with their girlfriend and then for a year they didn't work hard or whatever the heck, or whatever other circumstances, life happens. Nobody has a perfect run to achieve their goal. And so whatever they say are the man hours it took to achieve what they achieved always has some level of inefficiency in there. But even if you account for that, it is massively disrespectful to think that you can achieve the same thing without at least doing kind of the same amount of work. And you got to remember, the more perfect the run, as in the more disciplined you are on your path and the less error you have on your path when you're trying to improve and achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve, the more you can get done at the same time. And some people don't really like to specialize that much. For example, me, right? I like to do a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff I like doing in my life. So because of that, if you want to achieve a significant level in different fields, you're going to have to do more perfect runs. Like you're going to have a more disciplined journey to achieving your goals, because if you do that, then you create a time to do other stuff at a decent level. And then it's up to you to make the choice, right? Do you want to commit absolutely everything to the main thing and just do that much harder and catch up to the people in less time, right? As we were talking about earlier, because it is possible, but you need to be extremely disciplined on your path. Or not that, but then take longer. If you don't have a perfect run, you're obviously going to take longer. Then if you have a perfect run, you're more disciplined. You can then choose to catch up, surpass, or spread out, But the fact is, everyone has a limited amount of time because time passes. Everyone has the same amount of hours a day, right? It's completely separate from what everyone's life situation is. Everyone has the same amount of hours. So at the end of the day, you got to make the choice, right? Do you want to achieve a decent level in a bunch of stuff? Do you want to achieve a lot in 2 or 3 things, or do you want to be the best at one thing? And you're gonna have to make your choice at some point. And I really thought that I was special, that I could be the second option, right? The second thing I said, which is to be very good at 2 or 3 things. And I thought I could do that by putting in much less work, which is bad. I kept spreading myself thin. Actually, my problem isn't necessarily that I spread myself thin. It's that I have low discipline. I can get myself to work if I'm motivated, but it's hard for me to keep going if I'm not motivated, So I'm not saying I don't have discipline, but that's definitely the weakest part in myself. I definitely think I have a lot of room to grow in my discipline, right? Like a lot of people. But yeah, like I said, there comes a time where everyone has to choose which of the 3 paths will you take. You gotta pick what you want to do, how fast, and how much suffering you're willing to go through to achieve it faster. If you don't want to suffer, then you'll achieve it slower. And only when you're about to die, only at the very end, do you actually realize what you cared about most. Because you can't really know it earlier, right? Throughout your life, you can hypothesize what the thing is you care about the most. But after you've lived all of your life, you've heard all of the opinions of all of yourselves when you were 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old, 25, 30, and so on, up until you're on your deathbed. When you're on your deathbed, only then, after you've heard all of your own opinions, can you tell yourself what you actually cared most about. There was that quote. It went, "The ironic tragedy is that life is lived forwards, but only makes sense in reverse." Remember, it's more important to fulfill your real goals and understand that material success is a means to an end for a spiritual goal. Because the spiritual goals are actually what matter. Because the materials always change. There is no country for old men. The materials change, the world moves on, and you can't keep up anymore. You have money or you don't have money, but then it doesn't really make a difference because you're dying. So how much money you have makes no difference anymore. What objects you have makes no difference anymore. then you realize that it has to be, like, by process of elimination, since all of the other types of goals are completely out of the picture, the only thing that matters is your spiritual goal. Live your life according to a spiritual goal, because by the end of your life, it will not be a materialistic goal that will make you happy. It'll be something spiritual. So make that your goal now and act towards that. And then as a byproduct of having focused on having many children, raising a healthy family, having good kids that surpass you, you will of course then have a lot of money, Understand? Thanks for listening to me. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.